Hello again and welcome to CBA's weekly blog. I'm Patrick Hurd, Principal Consultant at Community Business Australia. And today again, I'm joined by Luke Mountford, who's partner at Hopwood Gannon. And we introduced Luke to you last week. And Luke, we'd like to start talking about some really important areas for our clients over the next few weeks. And let's kick it off with an area that I know is a big issue in relation to the not-for-profit sector is the sort of consolidation that we're seeing, where there's mergers, there's acquisitions, there's a whole lot of transfer of ownership of organisations, some really big work in that space. So just start with, what are you seeing in terms of those broader trends in this space?
I think it is a trend that we've been seeing over quite some time, Patrick, and it continues to be very prevalent. I think particularly the not-for-profit space, government action or inaction is often, one of the triggers for this type of activity. The government making a policy change or a change in regulation that makes it difficult for particularly smaller operators to be able to continue to operate in the way that they have in the past and continue to be able to go it alone. That can often be a trigger for this type of activity, particularly in the not-for-profit sector, and also inaction on the part of government. So, government funding or subsidies not keeping up with the pace of the increase in cost of providing the services that organisations in the not-for-profit sector provide. Again, putting that strain on those organisations, and again, particularly those smaller organisations. So, I think that it probably uniquely to the not-for-profit sector is one of the real drivers in this type of activity, whether that's sort of mergers, consolidations, or smaller operators being acquired by larger operators.
Of course, and CBA works quite extensively with small to medium not-for-profits, and particularly in that sort of regional areas of Australia. What are some of the, I suppose, strategic realities, I'll call them, that you're seeing for some of those providers?
Well, I'm glad you used the word strategic, because I always say that there's two types of M&A activity. There's strategic M&A and there's distressed M&A. And strategic M&A arises where the leaders of an organisation look at the landscape in which they're operating and decide there's some kind of strategic benefit in undertaking some form of merger or acquisition. And that might be either to expand, or it might be, as we were talking about, a need to consolidate because of cost pressures or other external pressures. But the important thing about strategic M&A is that it doesn't happen by accident. It's a proactive approach that is required from the leaders of the organisation. And it's about looking forward and determining what the best course of action is. Distressed M&A, as the name suggests, does sometimes happen by accident and doesn't involve a proactive approach. It's a very reactive approach. And that's where changes in the landscape in which the organisation's operating have gotten to a point where, because the leaders of those organisations haven't been proactive, the organisation is now in a situation where it's really got no alternative but to try and pursue some of this kind of activity. And unfortunately, distressed M&A, again, it's probably trite to say, but if you're in a scenario where it's a distressed process, it's very unlikely that you're going to get an optimal outcome for the benefit of your stakeholders.
And look, I'm pleased you mentioned that, because I often lament the fact that sometimes our clients come to us when it is at that point, when it's probably too late to be strategic. And really the options are minimal in terms of where to go and what to do. So what's the suggestions from you in regard to ensuring that you are more strategic in the future for clients?
Well, the key, as you've alluded to, Patrick, is not to wait until it's too late. Hoping that a scenario might get better is not a great strategy. And I think it's really a case of looking objectively at the situation that your organisation is confronting and getting on the front foot early, getting in touch with your advisors, CBA, legal advisors, your accounting advisors, to really understand what your options are. Because if you leave it too late, the likelihood is that options that may have been available to you had you acted earlier are going to evaporate. And in a worst case scenario, we've had clients that get to the point where there are really no options left. The size of the problem that has accumulated within the organisation is such that there's really no one left who's willing to take that organisation on and take those commitments on. And the only available outcome in that scenario is insolvency, which is in nobody's best interest. So really getting on the front foot early, getting in touch with your advisors, looking at what the options are, and then also importantly, resolving to pursue one of those options, not looking at what the options are and then not making a decision. You need to, if it looks like this is going to be the best path to pursue, then proactively pursue it.
Sound advice there, Luke. Thank you very much. Now, if you'd like to know more about how CBA and Luke can assist you if you're looking to contemplate these important strategic decisions, please contact us at CBA. So until next time, thanks, Luke, and bye for now.
Thanks, Patrick.